Good afternoon, guys. The Gainish Critic here for you, and this afternoon I am in the community of ENMORE with Minister Charles Ramson Jr, the Minister of the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. And no introduction needed for Minister Ramson because he's on the ground a lot. And why I'm here, I'm just coming back from Region 5, where the Vice President had an outreach, and the Minister has been doing some work in the community here. I was made aware of it, so I decided to highlight that and in the importance of transparency and accountability. As you know, I'm on the ground wherever government is, whatever they're doing, we do it live to hear directly from them. Minister Ramson, thanks for this opportunity.
Thanks also for coming to see me. This is one of the projects that we had going on last year, and we're going to open it up to the public next week, because next week we're going to be celebrating or commemorating the ENMORE Martyrs, which is one of our events that's the National Trust, which falls under my remit, usually commemorates. So we usually have a big event out here. Not everybody knows about it, but we're inviting you now, so you'll be able to stream it live. It's also one of the projects that we had coming out of our budget last year. So the park itself, as you can see, we built a walkway all the way around, nicely designed with some benches. You can see some people running, exercising here. Installed lights. It's got a washroom facility here. So this is one of the projects that we wanted to bring to the public's attention and just launch it for next week.
Beautiful. And just for the viewers to know, the monument you're seeing behind the rear, that is in commemoration of the ENMORE Martyrs, right? So you can go and look that up on Google and have a better understanding of what's the history behind this. There's a lot of history behind the ENMORE Martyrs. Minister, you have been going across this country and have been revamping grounds. The government has been putting a lot of funds into culture, youth and sport. You have been spearheading that. I must say, a lot of people call and say, critic must tell Minister Ramson, because everybody doesn't have everybody's number, but they got me number. So tell Mr. Ramson, Minister Ramson, he's doing a good job. In going across this country and doing what you're doing, how do you see the opposition today? Have they been very helpful? How do you see the opposition? Only today the opposition leader was talking about suggesting that you stop the project at Linden, the track there. Give us an understanding of where that is, because President Ali speaks about one Guyana all the time, and the intention is to ensure that all Guyanese are treated equally. How do you see the new opposition and the opposition leader?
Yeah, first of all, it's very important that I set the record clear in relation to the project in Linden. First of all, someone had sent me the clip where the leader of the opposition had a press conference, a public press conference, where he publicly said that the ministry and the government of Guyana, the People's Progressive Party government of Guyana, stopped the project, the synthetic track in Linden, because it was a discriminatory practice that we are employing, because it is an area that in the last election was supportive of the APNU-AFC. Let me first of all say that that is false. And let me set the record clear as well. The synthetic material has been purchased already. The material is already in the country and stored safely. We are expecting the consultant representing the company, this is the German company, BSW, to come in to the country next month to supervise the laying of the asphaltic material. And then once that's finished, immediately after that, that's expected to take about 30 days. Immediately after that, with the laying of the synthetic material, and that's also going to be expected to take another 30 days. So I'm just clarifying that part of it too. if the leader of the opposition was also diligent in what he was doing as a public officer as he's supposed to, he would have seen that we publicly advertised for the new stands, the new pavilions that we are going to be building there. These are multi-year projects because they're big stands. They're going to have bucket seats, nice glass fronts, etc. It's already been designed. It's already been advertised. It's being evaluated right now. So in a short period of time, the contract is going to be awarded and the construction is going to start in another couple of months or so. So this is information that is publicly available all the time. The scope of work, the project information as well, is available and has been available in all of the public budget documents. Now, it is yet another example of how Mr. Norton is proving to the public that he's not ready for the big league. If you are supposed to be the leader of the opposition, you should be able to know where to find information from, access that information, and disseminate that information to the public. But the fact that he is unable to understand the information it's deeply concerning, and it should be concerning to the people of the country when it comes to the kind of representation that they could get from Mr. Norton. And it's also proving what Mr. Jagdeo, the Vice President, had said, that Mr. Norton is not ready for the big leagues. He shouldn't be the person who, if he's giving that information to the public, which is easily refutable, it just shows that he has no credibility whatsoever.
So you're suggesting that due to the magnitude of this project, in terms of what is going to be offered in Lindenners, it's a synthetic track. It would be the second synthetic track in Guyana. Basically, because of the magnitude, this being a big league project, you're suggesting that Aubrey Norton wouldn't be playing there.
It has nothing to do with him playing at the project. I'm just saying, if you were involved in politics and in a public capacity, in a public capacity,
no answer needed, Minister.
You're supposed to know where to get this information from. You read the newspapers, all of the projects are advertised publicly, with the exception of the procurement of the track, because it's from the company in Germany. So
was there a revitalization project? Because I could remember on one of my trips to Lethem, I covered that story, where at the time the project had come to a standstill.
Yes.
Is it a revitalization project?
We had to. So if you go and check what was in the press during the period of about 2017 to 2020, you will see that the AP and UAFC failed on their delivery of this project in every respect. And I didn't say too much about it, and because when we complete it, I'll be able to show the public in comparison what they said that they would have been able to do when they said that the project would have been completed by 2019, and it never did. 2020 went by, nothing happened. So we had to take it over. We had to go and produce new bills of quantities and design for the various projects, etc. A whole bunch of additional works had to go into these two projects, the one in Linden and the one in New Amsterdam. Same synthetic design. And we had to add in new projects because there weren't any projects that were left with us, no scope of works, etc. So, and we're also adding in right now the design for lights so that we can host international matches and meets, just like we're doing right now at the Lenore facility where Guyana is playing. And the last score that I had was that Guyana was 2-0 against Bermuda.
Interesting. Minister, have you come up with a plan? Since what the opposition leader would have done today was a direct attempt to hit their supporters, who in no uncertain terms don't need to support you, but need your support in their development, since your ministry is the premier organization responsible for culture, youth and sport and the development of such activities. The opposition leader is obviously trying to pit his people against the ministry with these deliberate attempts at slandering the ministry and the ministry's work. Have you been able to work outside? Do you see yourself working outside of the opposition leader? I know the vice president and a lot of ministers have been able to get down on the ground and deal with the people directly. Is there any use for an opposition from your vantage point?
I mean, I still think that in thriving democracies, an opposition is important, but it has to be a credible opposition, not this nonsense that we have right now. It really and truly, this is an embarrassment. What we have as an opposition right now, this is an embarrassment. The people of Guyana are generally, they are dissatisfied with the representation that they're getting from the opposition. And Aubrey Norton has, when the little hope that some people who may have been the hardcore PNC supporters may have had about him being the new leader of the PNC, I think that all of that has dissipated now. Aubrey Norton has proven himself to the public now to be useless in relation to his performance as the leader of the opposition, and I think most of Guyana have made up their minds in relation to what credibility he has as a leader. And a proof of that is when they announced publicly that they were going to go to Linden in their base, the same place that they said that we're not going to proceed with the project. And when they went into their base, they publicly announced a community meeting, and I still have the flyer, that at 3 o'clock they were going to be at this location for this community meeting. The community meeting had to be cancelled because the same day the vice president was having a meeting to deliver on the promise that he had made in relation to jobs, the temporary jobs that they had there, and nobody turned up to Aubrey Norton's community meeting. The fact is that in all of the attempts that they have called for a protest in any part of the country, nobody has turned up. Nobody is interested in what they're saying, and nobody is interested in advancing their causes, because people know that in relation to who they should be able to listen to and who they should trust, that's with the government now, and that when lies like this come out from Mr. Norton that can easily be disproved, and when these projects are completed, and we have on record to show that he said that we stopped the project, or I can take you right now to where the synthetic material is stored. I can show you that we purchased it already, that it's in the country already. I can show you the documents, the exchanges between BSW to show that the consultant is expected to be here in July. I can show you as well the advertisement in the newspaper to show that the project was advertised for the building of the pavilion at the 2 synthetic tracks. I can show you that the bids were opened because it's public tendering. So when these examples come up to show who is it that we're going to believe, everybody in the country has been able to make up their mind that its on credibility is with President Ali and the government of Guyana, and it's not with the opposition, and it's definitely not with Aubrey Norton.
That is clear as day. What I need assurances from on behalf of the people is that no matter who, because obviously the opposition, who they represented, are misrepresenting now. These people on the ground want to know that you are there for them, all Guyanese, and One Guyana is also with you, Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport.
Yeah, it's difficult for the argument to be advanced in a serious way across the country that there is the possibility of government being discriminatory in our practices. I'll give you an example. We had grants for young people to receive $1 million for either to start or to enhance their existing business. When we hold a ceremony for that, you'll be able to see what is the makeup of the recipients for that. Guyanese of all races, it's male, female, different ages, different regions as well. We made sure that there would have been regional representation as well. So we didn't win every region, but every region was able to get. So that's one example. Look at our scholarships. Originally, I saw a flyer that AFC said that they gave out 1,000 scholarships last night. We've already exceeded probably about 10,000 scholarships, or getting close somewhere around there already. And when you look at the makeup and the composition of those things, similarly in house lots, when people go and apply, you don't know what is their ethnicity, but they go through a process of application and the award being made. When you go and see the people being awarded their houses, it's a makeup of all of Guyana. So the discrimination claims that Mr. Norton is attempting to put out there it's really, nobody is paying attention to it anymore, because people know that they're receiving benefits. So, you know, and we were also, I was assessing what would have happened after their election, during or after election. You know, as a politician, you pay attention to these things. But first of all, the fact that they removed Granger and Harmon and everybody from the leadership of the PNC, they have finally agreed with the People's Progressive Party. The membership of the PNC agreed finally with the People's Progressive Party that Granger and the crew that he had, like Harmon, etc., were not the right leaders to run the country, because they removed them from the leadership of their own party.
Unfortunately, they had to lose to agree.
Yes, and now the only person that they could have turned to at that time was who you call the left, the Bamba Mali origins, and Aubrey is a relic of the 1970s. The way that he talks, the way that he looks, his mentality, the style of politics, everything is a relic of the 1970s. It's almost as if he came straight out of Pyongyang in North Korea. It's not representative of a modern age. It's not representative of the style of country that we are as a people, being fresh and wanting to build and work together, and knowing that we have a great opportunity in front of us, figuring out what's the best avenue for us as a people, and showing people around the country how they can benefit. We've been doing that as the government. We've been showing people how to get benefits all the time, how you will be able to apply for X, Y, and Z. So their big goal is that they did 1,000 scholarships in the last 5 years, spent $1.3 trillion last $1.4 trillion in the 5 years. And their big ticket item for education is that they gave 1,000 scholarships. They're already up to 10,000. When we go and check the record, how many house slots were they able to allocate? It was about 7,000. We're already well close to over 10,000, going into 15,000 at the moment. So what is it that you can really claim that you have done that has been beneficial to people? And then, you know, what Mr. Norton keeps forgetting is that he likes to paint the picture that Guyana was created in 1992. It wasn't. There was a 28-year history that existed, of which he was a part of. And then, not forgetting the 2015 to 2020 period, he was a part of that too. He may not have had executive power, and I totally understand now why Granger never gave him executive power, because this was a disaster. He was a disaster, and it would have been worse. Now it just shows Guyana that he's not ready for the big leagues.
Minister, on that note, I want to thank you for this opportunity and hoping we can do this again in the best interest of openness and transparency. Thanks again.
All the best. See you.